$3,200 in car payments? Oh my gosh! What are you driving?
Oh, here we go. Yeah. This ain't even my car. Somebody let me use it, bro.
This is the crazy world of the American auto market. American auto loan debt is at an all-time high, now standing at $1.6 trillion. And the crazy part, that's enough to buy every single residential home in New York City and still have money left over. So what do? We've built a society that pretty much requires a car to live in, but cars are now more expensive than ever.
Why are cars becoming so expensive? In January 2025, the average price of a new car passed $49,000, the highest it's ever been. Not only that, it's been outpacing inflation rapidly. In fact, in 2024, there were almost no new cars listed under $20,000. Why are cars in the United States so unaffordable? The data doesn't lie. Something is very wrong with the US car market, and it only seems to be getting worse. Is America in the middle of a car bubble, or things about to burst? As it turns out, the rising prices aren't even the worst part. There's something much worse underpinning all of this that could cause this bubble to burst. This situation sounds bad, but Americans are unfortunately used to this. It seems like everything is getting more expensive and outpacing inflation. Groceries, gas prices, housing prices. Cars are just another part of this, right? Well, there's something else going on with cars. Let's dive a bit deeper. $49,000 is a massive price for new cars, about $10,000 more than it was in 2019. The price is going up, but so are other things. Insurance premiums have gone up, so have repair costs and financing rates according to the Wall Street Journal.
If we're talking about car pricing and the increase in the car pricing, is that there's a lot of factors which are actually playing a fairly significant role in order to increase the prices. And as consumers, this is something that we are trying to fight against, but even though we are fighting, this is a battle that we cannot win. And if you look at this Mercedes-Benz, is that there's a lot of focus in terms of new technology, and there's a lot of things that we don't require in a car. For example, what are you gonna do with a car that lights up the grille? And the other things are, yeah, they're nice to have and nice to look at, but as a result of that, it's making cars to be very, 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 very expensive. And the other thing is that what you need to note is that a lot of entry cars now, they're no longer being found on the market, and a lot of brands are focusing on cars which are more expensive and to try to increase the profit. And this leads to more production cost, because now they're producing cars which are higher end. So those cars that used to be affordable to the normal person, now you will no longer find them as affordable because the prices are rapidly gonna increase. So that's the problem that we are looking at. And in terms of, back to the focus in terms of technology, the other thing that I've noted, it has to do with the interior. Back in the days when you buy a car, you would know that you have an interior, you have a radio, then you have a technometer where you'll be able to see the speed that you are traveling, and also the rev counter. But now manufacturers are actually moving to these screens. I mean, it's getting a bit absurd, especially when you look at Mercedes-Benz. It's just screens everywhere. I don't know where you're gonna get the time when you are driving, when you're looking at the road, and these screens everywhere. At this point, they might as well just put an 80-inch screen in front of you so that you can look at. So these screens which they are putting on cars, these are something that they're actually using it as an excuse to bump the pricing. I know that the Chinese, they also come with their screens, but the other thing that is working in terms of Chinese favor is that the government, it actually subsidizes in terms of the car market. And back to the screens, and we know that a lot of features, especially if we look at the Tesla Model 3 or any Tesla, you know that there's that big center screen which actually controls a lot of things, and these are things that usually, especially in terms of whether the AC used to have a knob that you would rotate, now everything is getting put on the screen. Like, you pay for everything, even the disco lights that they're putting inside the car. It looks nice, but for Mercedes-Benz, I think they kind of overdo it. So let's move on to the other factor that's actually affecting car pricing. We also have the import tariffs. We know that Trump has been imposing a lot of tariffs in terms of the cars. So if you know that there's a brand that's not producing cars in the USA and they don't have a manufacturer plant, just know that whenever those cars get imported into the country, then there will be a lot of import tariffs. Then the next thing that's actually affecting the price is due to the very high repayments. This is caused by the increase in terms of used and new cars. So the pricings are just going around increasing, and we know the wages, we don't need to say that, we've been saying that in many videos, the wages are not keeping up in terms of the increasing in terms of the car pricing. So that's a risk that car manufacturers are actually facing, and as a result of that, even the cars which are being repoed, it's becoming a lot because people are no longer able to afford the cars, because everything every day is actually rising in terms of the prices. So you have the cost of living that's constantly rising. On the other hand, you have the car repayments that you have to keep up, and on top of that, you have very high loan and very high interest rates. And if we're talking about interest rates and also loan repayments, we know that now in terms of the car loans, you can pay up to 6 years, some of them even as much as 9 years, because cars are becoming that expensive. And recently there's been a shift from combustion engine cars to EVs. So as much as we're trying to save the planet, but the move to EV is actually increasing the car pricing, because what you need to know about EVs is that the production cost of these cars is very high, also because of the batteries that they need to run on. And you know that the materials that are used to build those batteries, these are things that needs to be mined somewhere, and most of the raw materials will need to be imported from somewhere. So as a result of that, these cars they're very expensive. Actually, some of them are more expensive than your normal combustion engine cars. So yeah, in terms of cars, these are number of factors that we have noted down in terms of the car increase. And honestly, I don't see a change, but in terms of talking about a change, there's one change that we have noted. As much as the car pricing are constantly increasing, but there's one thing that's actually not keeping up, that's actually reducing, and that will be the quality of the cars and also the durability. It seems that manufacturers now are actually focusing on things that don't actually make the car to move. So as a result of that, you know that you're gonna pay high insurance, and also the maintenance is going to be very high. So basically it means that when these cars start to break down, you're actually gonna pay more. So you're gonna pay more on top of very high interest rate on your salary that you're actually struggling to live on day to day, just to live normal means. Then you have to be paying high installment rates, and you have to be paying high insurance. So all these factors are actually contributing to the cars to be very expensive. And yeah, these are the factors that I've noted down that actually affecting the cars, and why a lot of people can no longer affect the cars, and why the repo rates have actually increased right now. And a lot of people, in terms of the repayments, people are paying so much for cars, and if something happens and you skip the payment, just know that they're gonna come and take your car. So yeah, man, like these are the factors that are affecting the car prices, and from what we're seeing, cars are still going to continue to be expensive and the prices are still going to continue to increase. This is something that everybody needs to live and accept. And I think the best thing that people can do is just to downgrade and actually buy something that they can afford. As much as used car prices and new car prices is more or less the same. But yeah, man, that's all that I have in store for you. Don't forget to subscribe, and as always, I'll see you on the next one.